Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another round of the Currie Cup. This one it is going to be the GRIQUAS going head to head with a new side in the Carling Currie Cup, the Boland Kavaliers, after a massive victory for this side over the Cheetahs last week. They have got round two, and if they can win this game as well, they are on absolute fire from the start of the competition. Looking through at the starting lineups for these two sides, the GRIQUAS had some pretty handy players in their last contest up against the Pumas. It was an unsuccessful effort, but now that they are at home, they're definitely going to be wanting to turn it around and get themselves the victory. 42 points to 25, the way that first match set or ended up being. In fact, that was the first round match of this round of the Carling Currie Cup. That game a little bit closer between the two sides, but David, Ice, and also Klamani will be the front row alongside Mpofu, and Lebenberg slotting in as the locks. Oosthuizen, Els, and Ulank will be the number 8. Abrahams and Whitehead in that 19 combination. Then in the midfield, the man's name who I was butchering last week, unfortunately, is Zwellendaba. And then Besta on the outside. Weir out on one wing, Mart out on the other, and Mahoney at number 15 for this Boland Kavaliers side. It is Losper, Tobias, and Van der Vesterhuizen as the front row. Benardi alongside Williams in the locking duo with Damini, Mafu, and Sangwini slotting in. As the number 8, September and Davids will be the 9 and 10 combination for this contest. Ashlon Davids last week, he was doing very well. Every time that man touched the ball, it seemed like something was just about to happen. He scored himself a try. He set up a few, and we want him to do the same. And at this contest, Nkale in the midfield alongside David Brits, and then Donovan Don Titus out on the other wing, and then James Tedder at number 15. We have got the hello to all, says Rian. What's up, people? Says Xander. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. And Boland should take this. It's going to be tough going against a strong GRIQUAS side. And isn't it crazy that a side that has been added into the Currie Cup this year in Boland already have so much support and also so much belief that they are going to be able to do well. Last season, we did see the Griffins. They didn't win a single game, yet already Boland were able to beat a very formidable Cheetahs side, getting off to a great start in that game, almost letting it slip through the fingertips. But an 88th minute try is what turned it around for them and got them their first victory. Now, even if they hadn't scored that, they were walking away with 2 points from that game. They got the full 5. Total over under 68. Please, any yes sir? No guess whatsoever, to be honest. These two sides they can be high-scoring sides, but at the same time, this game could also be quite close because neither side will want to make those massive mistakes. But in the Carling Currie Cup, if you're not chasing that bonus point, you're not doing very well. In the first round, it was 49 points to 25 between the Pumas and the GRIQUAS. In the Boland Kavaliers match up against the Free State Cheetahs, it was 37 points to 35. So, high-scoring games in round number 1, but then every once in a while you have a game that's that little bit lower. Sharks coach fired. Says Xander. I mean, if they fire the coach, it's not going to make much difference to their side at the moment. Unfortunately, they've just got too many players out for the box. And then also alongside that, I'd like to say that they're building depth, but it's going to take a while for them at the moment. It's a little bit similar to what we see for Wales in the international game. And Boland will take this one to be and the race for the Currie Cup, says Briston, I should say. And yeah, the fact that for their first season, they've won that first game and now they are considered title contenders, it's actually pretty awesome. Because normally the side that joins into the Carling Currie Cup doesn't perform most of the times. If you choose what you're going to choose, over under 68 points, I'm going to let you decide. Because normally what happens is if anyone asks me for a prediction and then they bet on it and they get it wrong, or I get it wrong, then I get abuse. So I'm just better off not guessing. So good luck. Hopefully you do get it correct, but we won't be the one who tells you what one to go with. Chantel says, hi, all and Hamish. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. This game is a GRIQUAS home game. And I know I've got the Pumas Stadium behind me for Mbobelo Stadium, but that is just because I had it there. Hope you got some sleep, H. I had about 3 hours. And then 2 hours yesterday, I think it was. I don't even know what day it is at the moment. I think we're on Monday, aren't we? The All Blacks squad announcement taking place today. We did get up in the afternoon to do an NPC contest as well as a video about the fact that Cam Roygar could be out for the Springboks versus All Blacks matches. That is definitely a concern for the ABs with the skill and the craftiness of someone like a Grant Williams at the back of the forwards. Decent crowd looking like it. Going to be high scoring or low. Once again, Rajan, you are going to have to make that choice yourself. I'm not giving you a prediction, because if I get it wrong, then you'll probably send me a message telling me how much you hate me. And it's just easier not to do it. Thanks for doing this game, Hamish. Says Craig Stevens, no worries at all. I am excited for it. Hopefully it is going to be relatively close. We do know that the Boland Kavaliers, from their game last week up against the Cheetahs, they've got a lot of ability. They aren't the sort of side that will just, if they get behind, give up. They will keep on fighting. 88-minute try to win that game. They got plenty more left in the tank here as well. But the GRIQUAS, they are going to have a decent-looking bench here. They've got Pretorius, David there as well, and Bercy, Nell, and Hufka slotting in as the number 23 for the Boland Kavaliers. Masimla coming off the bench later on in the game with Mostert and Mitchell as the back replacements. Nunu there, Victor, and the propping replacements too. Now, one part of the game that Boland did struggle with was actually their scrum in the game up against the Cheetahs. So if the GRIQUAS can use their front row to their advantage, including their captain Glamini, I think that may be where this game could be won. But if Boland can avoid those scrums, hang on to the ball, they could create a lot of chances for themselves. Discipline GRIQUAS, says Quinton there. Yeah, if they're able to stop any sort of, repeat infringements, because we've seen a lot of yellow cards. At the end of the day, for the GRIQUAS in their first game up against the Pumas, they did get themselves 3 within, I believe it was 10 minutes. We have got there, you guys don't know this team, performs Boland as a strong union in Western Cape. Maybe best, or maybe better than Western Province, says Briston. Yeah, I've been looking into what Boland have all been about. And I mean, from their side, I know quite a few of the players. A couple of them from that 7 circuit, the likes of a Donovan Don and David Britz. And it seems to be those type of players do transition pretty nicely into rugby union. And that loose forward trio of Glamini alongside Mafu and Sangweni, like there was nothing wrong with what they were doing last week. I just worry about their scrum. And maybe that's where they aren't quite as, it sounds bad to say, but maybe quite as stacked as some of the other teams in the Currie Cup. Maybe they don't quite have that same amount of depth that those other teams have, but by playing in the Currie Cup, it will certainly help them develop that. And as long as they get 1 or 2 more wins, they will be staying on the Carling Currie Cup for next week. Or sorry, not next week, but, well, they should be, but next year as well. I'm going with a high-scoring game. Both teams scoring over 30, so I'm guessing 38-31 GRIQUAS, says Xander. And there as well. And we have got their Well Look TV match. Depends on where you are in the world. Are you in South Africa, Jojo, or are you somewhere else in the world? Because I know that in South Africa, it's on DSTV. In New Zealand, it is on Sky Sport. And I believe Stan Sport have it in Australia too. And we have got there, what's the best spread bet? I don't even know what a spread bet is, if I'm being honest with you, Mr. Green. I assume that's like a multi. Or is that like the amount of points between the teams? I would recommend not doing it with rugby, because we've seen far too many people in our chats have come in and said they've backed something, and then they go home and have to accept the fact that I've lost money. We have got there, what was the score for the GRIQUAS versus Pumas? That was also high scoring, wasn't it? It wasn't too bad. We have got there, oh sorry, I'll actually tell you the score. It was 48 points to 28. I don't know why I didn't just say it. I read it off before. Plus 20 Cavaliers. As in so that means that they have to be within 20, right? Which they honestly should be. Like they were competitive up against the Cheetahs in the last game. Although, at the same time, that was at the home field, so it might have played impact. And Hamish is the next game on Boland Stadium against the Lions. So the next game for Boland, they are going to be playing pretty much 1 week from now. They start with 20. Oh, it's the other way around. 20 is a lot, isn't it? In a game of rugby, that's a lot. That's 3 converted tries. And the GRIQUAS aren't that bad. At the end of the day, they did get 3 yellow cards last week. Nice touch there from Dlamini, the captain of the GRIQUAS, giving a young man in a wheelchair a bit of a hug before the game gets underway. Can you write the TV channels that broadcast, please? Sorry, I don't understand English well. Well, first I need to know, where are you in the world? Because if I know what country you're in, then I can tell you your broadcasters. and they'll make it a little bit easier. I so love the fact that this is being broadcast. Says Craig. Yeah, it's something that we don't really get too often here in New Zealand. Like, there were a couple years where the Currie Cup wasn't even being shown, and it was a massive shame. AJ Jacobs, he will be in charge of this matchup. But what we will do is we'll go like this, and we'll go like this as well. There we go. The Cavaliers and the Lions game is going to be tough. Yeah, at the moment it seems like the two contenders that a lot of people are picking are the Bulls and the Lions. Now, of course, one of the other sides outside of that could get themselves up there and win the Carling Currie Cup. At the end of the day, you've only got to be in the top 4. But those are the two front runners currently based off form. But now, match is about to get underway. Did any of the under 20 players get game time yesterday? Quite a few for the Sharks, as well as actually for the Bulls. We saw JJ Terong get himself the match-winning try. We saw Fusi Moyo got some minutes off the bench. Everson got some time out there on the park as well, the replacement halfback. So, a few of the guys, maybe not as many minutes as they will have throughout the whole competition, because I think they're going to be needed definitely for the Sharks. But it is going to be kicked off from left to right and underway now. Ashlyn Davids will start this match off for the Boland Kavaliers. Can they do what they did last week and cause another upset and get 2 wins from 2 for the start of their Carling Currie Cup? But the GRIQUAS are attacking from just outside their own 22. Go Boland. Go big boys. Whole Western Cape is backing you. So here's Briston. It's going to be taken back, so this one cannot find touch. Kick downfield and well taken at the back here. Charging forward now. It's going to be the big man Weir. Now off to the right. Yeah, Boland going to be in position. So I actually should say that was James Tedder rather than Weir. That similar build now off to the left-hand side. Oh, big shot coming in on Sydney Tobias, who gets driven to the side. September back and behind. Someone's boot's already fallen off, and it's only 1 minute into the game. Pass on the outside. Finding Glabini. And yeah, kickoff Hamish says Ruth. And there, now back across September goes to Ashlyn Davids. Another touch for Sydney Tobias. Man, by a GRIQUAS solid 2-man tackle. And the biggest thing for the GRIQUAS is just don't end up getting those yellow cards, because that was, I feel, at least a little bit of the turning point. There was going to be no chance of coming back with 3 yellow cards in the same play. Now kicked him behind, just trying to play a bit of territory here for James Tedder. That ball's curling really nicely, but well handled at the back for Whitehead, who passes back across. Now an attacking run from the back for the GRIQUAS. Oh, Whitehead gets it away off his left boot. Are the under 20 players strong enough to compete? I always worry when they get injured. Then their whole career might be shortened because they started too young, says Xander. It's a risk, but then at the same time, that is kind of like, eventually you are going to have to make that step up to kind of that professional rugby side of things. And sadly, there's no right or wrong time in terms of when a player will be ready to be able to take part. But, some of those under 20 boys, the likes of a Klakane, like, he is bigger than, I would say, 90% of people in the Carling Currie Cup. And even in those training drills where Jasper Visser was trying to rip that ball off him, like, he has certainly got that physicality. So I don't know whether or not it's the fact that the players are starting young in terms of who they're playing, and that's why they're getting injuries. I think it is just because rugby is such a brutal sport that no matter how old you are when you start, like, those injuries are going to occur. And how many great players sadly have been affected by injuries pretty much their whole career. Like, the list does really go on. But Sydney Tobias, line out throw here, nicely claimed by Boland, who are around the halfway line. Ashlyn Davids going back across, little pop pass up from Mafu. Got a take and run from, I believe it was David Brett Sangweni, trying to spin out of the GRIQUAS tackle, but nicely done by Carl Els, I should say. And come on, Donovan Nom, make us proud, says Briston. Yeah, very handy player on the 7 side of things. Oh, that ball's been dropped by James Tedder. And now, referee missed that completely. So it is going to be play on. Sydney Tobias. Been told to let him go. Little bit of a counter ruck from Ulang. And the ball now stolen by the GRIQUAS on the short side. Grubber in behind, attempted, but 2 men back there to cover. Kick downfield from Boland towards the 22 of the GRIQUAS. Once again, we have got there go Boland. Says Craig. And who's going to win and score 5 tries here? Honestly, I think both of these sides have potential to score 5 tries. So it's very hard to say who will actually win, but Donovan Dong kicking into touch, a very good boot downfield. And that is going to make the score still at 0-0 after 3 minutes, but the first line out of the day for the GRIQUAS here. Did already see Boland have a 100% line out success rate. They're 1 from 1. And GRIQUAS are super freaky interception kings, says Ruth. Yeah, I think that this Currie Cup at the moment, when you really look through at the sides, there are so many great teams throughout this competition. Average height of the jumpers in metres is 1.92 for Boland and 1.91 for the GRIQUAS, so plenty of height in that department. Now looking to get this one rolling forward that little bit more for the GRIQUAS. Looks like this might be, oh no, I was going to say might be a kicking opportunity, but goes for the pop pass on the inside for the GRIQUAS. Brilliant speed show, cross kick here for Gershon Ware, and just a little bit too much on the kick, but that would have been an exciting way to start the game if Dylan Mart had been able to line that one up. But that was close for the GRIQUAS. Rather than going for that box kick off the rolling maul, backing himself to go short side there, Caleb Abrahams, and then the no-look shovel over the side, hope for the best, and he certainly found it in Gershon Ware. And that kick just got a little bit too big of a skid on in the first bounce. Managed to evade the right winger. Now will be the scrum feed here for Boland. Yes, man, hold GRIQUAS. Right there, Boland. Oh. Ball's been thrown on the field. Is that the first or the second one? They have now got just the one. And afternoon, Hamish. Beautiful day in Kimberley. Enjoying the game with you, thanks. Says Marlo. And it is greatly appreciated you being here for this contest. It is currently 1 a.m. here in New Zealand, but this is once again another game that I definitely didn't want to miss for the Carling Currie Cup. Pack weights 851 kg for the GRIQUAS compared to the 833 kgs for Boland. And now holding strong, although big push from the GRIQUAS. It almost led to a turnover. Ashlon Davids kicking down the middle of the field. A little bit of skill at the back shown off by Gershon Ware. Now goes to the right-hand side, going on the outside. This is a big chance, and this time it's found the hands of the right winger, Dylan Mart, with pace. And he will score the first try in front of the home crowd for this Currie Cup match. But that is, again, Gershon Ware, Dylan Mart just trying to link up with each other on the outsides, and that has led to try number 1. That's pace as well for Mart. No one was getting anywhere near him. As soon as he broke that first tackle, he was absolutely gone. And Hamish, this your dedication is unprecedented. These are two of the smallest unions in South Africa. Good job. Says Albert, although from what I've been told, Boland has a lot of support. Or at least they are one of the more, what was the more passionate fan bases, I think was the way it was worded. But yeah, I mean, we are going to be getting up for the All Black squad anyway. Although that is, I believe, at midday, so about 11 hours away. Not too sure what I'm going to do after this live stream up until then. I guess I could sleep for a little bit if I had to, or just get a bit of editing done. George Whitehead trying to curve it round, doesn't quite do it. And that is going to make the score now 5-0 for the GRIQUAS. So a good start to this contest. Just, yeah, good timing of the pass from Connor Mahoney. And then the pace of Dylan Mart, the big man on the outside. He's the size of a loose forward, but he does play wing. And the coach is very happy with that one. Good start to the match for the GRIQUAS. Now kicked off by Boland, who will want to fire straight back into this game. And the thing is, in their first match that they did have up against the the Cheetahs for Boland, I don't think they were behind too often throughout that matchup. At halftime, it was 27-14. They also scored the first try after getting two penalties. I think they might have then dropped behind in that 20 points or 20 minutes to 29 minute. I look at that field. It's typical South Africa concrete, winter grass. Says Albert. I don't think they're like a team should be judged for their field though. You know, there's been some pretty rough looking fields around. Even some of the big stadiums. I mean, we've seen some rough looking turf for those sides when they do host other events prior to it. This is just the beginning. Boland will wake up, says Briston. And we have got their good linking up there, says Ruth. And also try the GRIQUAS, says Ruth. And there as well. But now it is going to be the scrum feed. September. We'll put this ball in for Boland, but they're in a good spot on the field. And come on, Boland, grit it now, boys. And Ouch, I need super rude points from Boland. Do you just need them to win, Craig, or do they have to win by a lot in that regard? But a big scrum again from the GRIQUAS, and that has to almost be a penalty. Yes, it is, in favour of the home team. I mentioned about it before the match. The biggest concern I had for Boland was their scrum. They got dominated at times last week up against the Cheetahs, and even with the fact that they are, 20 kgs lighter, it's not a massive difference, but that push certainly was a big difference maker. But it's just the captain, Sibo Klameni, was not giving up on that scrum. He just kept on pushing through. Okay, I've got the Hamish. I grew up playing on fields like that. It's rock hard, and when you get tackled, you will lose teeth when you hit the ground. Says Albert. So what's the kind of connection with what you said initially about the two teams being not popular? You're saying because they're not popular, they don't get a nice field? Is that the gist of it? But now line out here for the GRIQUAS. And ready to throw this one in, going to the middle. And it's going to be nicely taken. And we have got their damn series, Craig. And there as well. But yeah, massive push coming from the GRIQUAS. Now sit 40 metres out from the line quickly to the breakdown. It was Abraham's. Now a little bit of stepping being shown off by Connor Mahoney. Abrahams from one knee gets it off to the captain, who is going to have a busy day if the scrums look the way that they did. But a beautiful steal there in the breakdown coming for Boland. Interception though for the GRIQUAS, just put down. Boland clean it up. They did not want another scrum. September now into the middle of the field. Here comes David Brits. Can't quite get past. I know I love these teams. All I'm saying is it's not fun playing on those fields. Do you think it will affect the way that these two sides play? But now the breaking line for Mpeku in the middle of the field. He's showing off his face. In fact, this time it was Ngale, my apologies. And he will score the opening contest try for Boland here. And he's doing this already. I feel like it's a little bit too early to be getting that confident. Maybe just not happy with what he's been hearing from whether it's the media or whether it's the crowd. But either way, now Boland will get back into this game. And they will take the lead. We'll go like that and like that. There we go. In fact, we are up to 12 minutes already in this contest. It's going to be a back and forth one by the looks of it. Just like it normally is in the Carling Currie Cup, which is why that game that took place between the Bulls and the Sharks was so weird. And GRIQUAS are super quick, says Ruth. And these boys are tough. They're used to playing on these hard surfaces like tarmac, Hamish, says Ruth. Okay, he's got 15 seconds now, James Tedder, to be able to line up this kick. A little bit of a side profile like Damien Pinot, that man. And honestly, front on, he's not a mile off of me. The only thing is the conditions will benefit the GRIQUAS, says Albert. Although a lot of sides in history, of course, will tell you if there isn't a slight home field advantage for the style that you play, then you probably made a little bit of a mistake. We've seen it time and time again. It's a little bit similar to what you see for altitude. How, those teams who play there consistently should be that little bit stronger in that type of condition. Some teams are better in the rain. Some surfaces that they play on are better when it comes to kind of drying off in wet conditions, or some teams actually don't mind if it stays a little bit slippy if they are playing a fast-paced side. But George Whitehead kicking this one into the 22. It's going to be nicely taken by Boland. Sitting about 20 metres out from their line. September told to use it. Pops it back into the pocket to Ashlon Davids. Does clear it downfield and into touch. And GRIQUAS are super quick here. Both of these sides have pure pace, but definitely Gershon, we're out on the wing alongside Dylan Mart for the GRIQUAS. If they aren't careful, Boland, that counter-attack can happen lightning quick. And as soon as they get past that last defender, I just don't think you're going to catch them. The conditions will start kicking in, and when the teams get tired. So here's Albert. So that's where the GRIQUAS have to try and get themselves that first victory of the season, because now that we see Boland being competitive, it does mean, and not just this game, but for the Carling Currie Cup in general, someone's getting demoted from this group of 8 players. And to be honest, the way Boland are playing at times, it doesn't look like it's going to be them. Unless that scrum, like I said, it could impact the game a little bit more than some anticipated. GRIQUAS getting themselves the penalty for Boland going in off the feet. And now, George Whitehead ready to kick this one into touch. He's turned down an easy 3 here for the GRIQUAS. I feel like that needs to be mentioned because they were literally 5 metres out, or probably about 15 metres out, straight in front of the posts. So, guaranteed 3 for a player of the skill of George Whitehead. Even though, of course, he did miss his first kick, but that one was a lot more simple this time. Line out throw here for Yanko Ice, taken by the GRIQUAS, looking for the rolling ball, breaking off the back and an advantage in hand 2 here for the home team. Getting closer to the line, about 1 metre out. Ashlon Davis doing extremely well to be able to hold him up and got Boland by 22 points. Says Craig there, and another advantage in play. That discipline of Boland, they're still trying to hold that ball in there, even though they were told to get out of it. It's almost going for the big wide pass. Abrahams tries to flop over the line. And Boland hold him up again. They're still playing under the advantage. It's getting really scrappy there in the breakdown as the players try and look for that ball that is buried deep down there. Now backline movement for the GRIQUAS. They've decided that that was too risky and they could get held up. Nice break of the line there from the quick step in fullback. Now only a couple metres out for Connor Mahoney. 5 metres out. Back across. Good attack and run. Mapu. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh. This is not good here, ladies and gentlemen. Boland, one of their players in a lot of pain. I think it is Dlamani in the number 6 jersey. I think it's his leg or something, but maybe something's either snapped. But he is screaming at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Which is a little bit of a really chilling scream because of the fact that we can't hear the crowd that much. But it sounds like it's serious, which is why they have decided to stop the game here rather than keeping on playing around them. But this is going to be a relatively long stoppage, I would think. They will definitely have to make a switch here. That is guaranteed. And they're definitely going to have to give them that green whistle. History has been made. So here's pads ablaze. Right, I think the Boland Kavaliers are just on a phone off their bench. I think they're just trying to see what the injury was, perhaps. But I think it was something to do with that leg getting trapped maybe in the breakdown. And the thing is, I want to say I saw the medic kind of do that action down the side of the leg. Which makes me think it could, like, the position where it was, I hope it's, well, it sounds bad to say, but I hope it's just a hamstring because, you know, he's still in a lot of pain. You can hear him kind of screaming from a camera and a microphone that's quite far away. And great try. So here's Craig there, but yeah, they are rushing the stretcher out there, but his leg, I think, is done for. At this point in time for Dlamini in the number 6 jersey, they will have to make that change. 15 minutes into the game at the moment. Boland and the GRIQUAS only sitting 7 points to 5. But that is not what Boland want. We've seen a few Carling Currie Cup injuries, broken leg or very hard to say. They haven't shown a replay of it either. But, like with... Oh, okay. I think that one of the people on the Boland bench, one of the kind of team managers, just kind of did the action of his knee getting crunched to the side. So I think it might be a knee that may have been snapped in two there, perhaps. And I just got here what happened, says Panther. It was pretty much just in the breakdown. And looks like already Marsh has made his way onto the field. So he is in the team huddle now. I believe it is going to be a GRIQUAS scrum. In fact, I think they already had a penalty advantage at that point, the GRIQUAS, so they might just go back for that. Or they might go for scrum here, GRIQUAS, to be fair. They've got plenty of options in this scenario. But Marsh does make his way onto the field for this one. Did like players fall on his leg? I think, oh no, they're showing the scrum there. I believe so, though. I think someone might have fallen on his leg sideways. Ashlon Davids. They are just showing that kick that he made down the middle of the field, which led to the counter-attacking chance for the GRIQUAS earlier on in the game. We saw the link-up of the wingers, including Dylan Mart. And we have got there Thurlow Marsh, my star. Says Briston there. But yeah, pure pace shown by the GRIQUAS. And the try coming back in the next couple minutes for this Boland side. And then clearly just going up the middle, stepping, and then never looked anything but going on to score the try, showing off his step and showing off his attitude after scoring it as well, going to the crowd like that, saying that they were maybe talking too much. I've done the same thing. Says Beds Ablaze. And out there, a nice moment there for the GRIQUAS number 14, Dylan Mart, who just went over to check on the player for Boland, and Boland has been impressive versus the Cheetahs in today. And who would have thought it? Maybe no one, says Jonathan. Well, that's the thing. Based off what we saw last year when the Griffins joined into the Currie Cup, like no one really expected them to do that well, and they actually sadly didn't. They didn't win a single game, whereas here for Boland, they were able to. This might be, they're just checking on their teammate there. A few of the guys off the bench are actually offering to help the medics carry him off the field on the stretcher, just because this is a little bit more old school. It's back to the days of carrying the stretcher rather than ending up with the cart going out on the field. But yeah, just a little bit of a stoppage here. An unfortunate stoppage due to that injury. Shame Amish, tough game. Poor player, knee injury. Serious one. From the way that he was screaming, I would say, like, you wouldn't expect it to be anything less than at least a few months. Unless he's very lucky and maybe the pain was worse than the injury. But I would say not a very good time for that man over the next kind of week or so. And plus, like, yeah, it's going to be a tough one because he was one of the more physical forwards that they had, Glamini. And now, you know, when you're already getting pushed backwards in pretty much every scrum that you take part in, to then lose a player like that is a pretty brutal one for this Boland team. But they have got the option off the bench, which they have used. Marsh will make his way on to the field. Hopefully he's the only player who has to make his way on early due to the injuries. And I thought there's going to be blood and guts all over, physical game. Says Ruth there. Yeah, these two sides showing off that power and pace at this point in time. But next week will be a tough game for Boland. They are going head-to-head with the Lions in the next round of the Carling Currie Cup. And then also, if we are looking at the GRIQUAS, they are playing the Western Province. And that is going to be the earlier game of the week. The injured player scream in agony. It's probably torn knee ligament. Says Mornay, and I got lucky with mine though. Says Padza, but yeah, they are just doing all of the precautions to make sure that he is, first of all, secure on that big stretcher. Because when you are carrying it, of course, the last thing that you want to do is drop an injured player. You see a Highlanders kit. It's a long way from Dunedin over in South Africa for this matchup. The Lions are ruthless, says Katzenell, and they will punish the Boland scrum. So it's going to be really hard to be able to deal with. And Boland, they need to try and use this game as a bit of a learning experience in terms of what to do at those scrums. But sadly, some of these packs are just that little bit bigger and that little bit better when it comes to how they scrummage. Because even the Cheetahs last week, that was where Boland all but went on to lose that game. Okay, it looks like they are now carrying him off the field. Those players who did make their way off the bench for Boland to help out the medics, that is a really nice touch from them, which wasn't fun, but almost away from the scrum. It was more straight for me as well. Says Badza. It's that body weight, or that heavy body weight landing on the small knee joint. That's the problem, crunch. Says Ruth there. Hi, everybody. Says Bruce. Welcome in, Bruce. We are doing well. Currently 15 minutes through this contest. The score does sit 7 points to 5 in favour of Boland. They did score the second try. The injuries are a brutal injury. And they're one that, even when you think they're 100% recovered, they can actually happen again. With, you could strengthen it up. You could do absolutely everything right. But it only takes one awkward landing with a knee to then be exactly where you were beforehand. There's a reason that so many players who have injuries with their knees throughout their career have to forever wear that brace or wear heavy strapping just to try and keep that knee in the right place, because it can so easily, in a game of rugby where you're playing a physical outing, can easily go wrong. And now looking to get this rolling maul going here for the GRIQUAS. They did opt to go for the corner off the penalty. That one's going to be dragged down illegally by Boland. Now short side looking for the corner. Going to be the big man Dylan Mart, who already has one try. They're hanging on to him though, and they will push him into touch. Going back now for another penalty. Awkward Amish. I got the perfect word for that, says Ruth. That one's going to be against the captain, Marlon Williams here, in the collapsing of the maul. For a start, I think he was trying his best just to stay on his feet in the middle of that rolling maul, but then just slipped over, or kind of fell over, in fact, and ended up getting penalised. Kickable goals not taken. 3 already for the GRIQUAS, so they are looking for that bonus point, definitely with the fact that they were defeated last week without one. They need to play a little bit of catch-up here, not just in this game, but in the Currie Cup competition as a whole, but rolling towards the line. Yanko Ice, he did leave it at the back, and instead they go around the side, and that is now try number 2 for the GRIQUAS. We'll go like this. Go like that as well. And I believe it is going to be Lawrence Esterhazen, who does manage to get that try. Normally in a move like that, when you're 5 metres out from the line, it's almost a guarantee that the hooker is going to be the man. Which stadium is in the background, Damish? I've got Mbabelo Stadium as my background. I know that that's not where this game's taking place, but I thought it looked quite sunny and quite a nice one. Definitely because I didn't have the GRIQUAS Stadium preloaded into my software, and sometimes it can play up a little bit when I try and add a new background. So because of that, I just thought, oh well, sun's out in this picture, looks quite nice. I will go with that. But that kick has gone over. And it also is the location that they played at last week, so it wasn't like a mile off, I guess. But 17 and a half minutes in, and that kick is successful. Esterhazen, another strong Afrikaner farm boy, tough enough, says Roof there. But yeah, at the moment, the physicality that we are seeing from the GRIQUAS is what is winning them this game. Those rolling mauls looking dangerous, those scrums as well, so pretty much any set piece, the GRIQUAS look very handy. It's going to be kicked off by Ashlyn Davids. It's that nice hide on it and well taken by the GRIQUAS. A little bit of a counter ruck here coming, and they will get themselves the penalty now, Boland. I'll be more than happy with being able to do that. The big praise for, I believe that was Dayan van der Vesterhazen. This is a kickable 3 here. Now sitting 1 from 1 off the kicking tee. We do see that was actually De Wit who ended up giving away that penalty for Oosterhuizen, who went off. Right. I think Boland have made the decision to go for the 3 points here, rather than attempting to go for the corner, because the last thing that they want is to end up going for the corner, messing it up, or having some sort of penalty against them, and then, you don't get any sort of reward. They are only down by the 5. So, of course, if this kick goes over, then that gap only becomes 2. Smashing pumpkins and bodies. This makes Raw look like tiddlywinks. Says, I was there from Ruth. Now ready to take this kick. Deep breath from James Tedder. Strikes it not too badly. Maybe pushed it. No, it has still gone over the posts. And that now, after 19 minutes, will make this score 12 points to 10. Very close between these two sides. We've seen some pretty one-sided games over the weekend in the Carling Currie Cup, but this game is not going to be one of them. Seems like they're going to go back and forth all throughout the 80 minutes. Now, kicking this one off, it will be the GRIQUAS as we pass a quarter of the way through this matchup. I think what we have seen is the GRIQUAS set piece is going to be very dangerous. Boland, though, they seem to have that pace and the breaking ability of the line. That could well and truly keep them in this. Now deep. Side of their own 22, Ashlon Davids takes it well, gives it off to Sangweni. Starts trying to pump his legs. Good luck, Craig. Hoping Boland can keep up, but GRIQUAS are lethal here. So here's Ruth, now back into the pocket. September goes to Ashlon Davids. And does get it into touch. Doesn't look that happy with the kick though, Davids. He was the player of the year for Boland in 2024. He's a phenomenal talent. He did very well last week. We are hoping for Boland to win. Boland pronounced Boland. Says Bruce there, and also loves Smashing Pumpkins music. Says Craig. Now, already AJ Jacobs giving a little bit of a warning here to the GRIQUAS. Telling them they're taking just a tad too long. On this one in, though, it will be Unco Ice. It is nicely taken. Off to the left-hand side. Big attack and run forward for Swinlendaba. A lot of yelling going on in that breakdown. I think wanting a penalty. Divot sitting 20 metres out still here. Abrahams and behind to Whitehead. Now backline starting to move here for the GRIQUAS and the dangerous Connor Mahoney. He's already had a couple very solid runs throughout this one. That ball actually rolling back into the breakdown. Boland saw the opportunity and they will go off to the left-hand side now after stealing it in the breakdown. Now, going back now. Dylan Mart waiting for this one at the back. He's already got try number 1. Can he get 2 here? Great step round Ashlon Davids, but Sangweni was able to stop him. Now Whitehead, cross again to Connor Mahoney. He's got to have already 50 metres carried throughout this game. All that ball almost ripped away. In fact, it was right on the verge of a knock-on from the GRIQUAS there. Now Whitehead off to the left-hand side, looking to find a way through this defensive line of Boland, I should say. Now Bester. Abrahams. Short ball there from Gershon Ware. Bofu. Driven backwards. And again, the physicality in the breakdown from Boland. So it seems like they aren't lacking the physicality anywhere other than the scrum at this point in time. And maybe a little bit to do with the rolling maul, but only 5 metres out from their own line now. Donovan Don will run this one up towards the 22. Good pressure put on. So it does fine touch though. And come on, people hit the likes button, please, and subscribe to GRIQUAS Rock and Commentary and try no way. See Craig there. And also Boland is the closest. I can get to the pronunciation. Maybe someone else can better it or can't better it. See Bruce. And there as well. Now getting ready to throw this one in. Crowd not looking 100% happy at the moment with just the 2-point lead. They, of course, would love to see another try in the near future. Oh, sounds like time's off at the moment. AJ Jacobs. What's going on here? Maybe a bit of an injury here for one of the GRIQUAS players. Currently 100% accuracy for both of these sides. When it comes to line out, 7 from 7 from the GRIQUAS. 1 from 1 for Boland. Just taking some deep breaths there as well. Yanko Ice, he's been busy throughout the earlier stages of this matchup. 2 tries from the GRIQUAS. They would need 2 more to be able to get themselves the bonus point. Now throwing it in. Nicely taken. And rolling maul will set up again here for this GRIQUAS side. 23 minutes through and going short side. Ice can't quite get through his opposite number, Sydney Tobias. To the left again. Now a step looking very handy for the GRIQUAS. And Mahoney passes on the outside now. Oh no, tried to go inside, sorry. And it's going to be a loose ball and just can't quite get to it in time for Zane Bester. I believe they've got the option of a scrum or a 22 here. And well, after all that smashing through, only 2 points behind, says Ruth. And yeah, I feel like in that case, you know, I'd be relatively happy with the scoreline. It could have been a lot worse. Definitely with Like I mentioned, we've seen scrums at this point in time very much in favour of the GRIQUAS. So if you are Boland, you just have to avoid it as much as you can when it comes to the set piece. We have good day, everyone visiting Barnon today. Going to make a big batch of yogurt soon, says Annie there. And now getting ready to go for that 22 dropout from Ashlyn Davids. Running this one back at the opposition line. It will be the GRIQUAS. Big bump off there for Lunk. Now counter ruck coming from Boland again. Looking for another step here. Quick stepping. Number 11, Gershon Ware. Always seems to beat at least one defender when he ends up with the ball in its grasp. Whitehead here to just beat the defender known as the referee. And now backline movement. Here it comes again out into the hands of Mart with the ball on the inside. Finds David, who moves up to 22 out. Now Boland once again. They will have to defend. This game depends on it as this backline of the GRIQUAS has a lot of skill. Nice step coming from Zane Bester. Got through two, decided against the offload as it would have probably been forward. Now George Whitehead up to 10 metres out, but over the ball. Sung Winnie wins a crucial turnover, but there was already the penalty advantage. So they will go back for the penalty here. Now, the GRIQUAS have already turned down 1 3-pointer here. In fact, they've turned down 3 of them throughout the early stages of the match. This one, again, is straight out in front, and their lead is currently only the 2. And they are keeping that aggressive mindset. So, again, turning down a total of 12 points here throughout the early stages. The GRIQUAS, they want to get that rolling maul flowing, and also that may bring Boland a little bit of trouble. They might end up with someone in the bin. Okay, that must not have been the tackle because that one was not high. But great work from Sung Winnie in the end to get that turnover in the breakdown up until they did go back for the advantage. Oh, okay, it seems like maybe there was a miscommunication there about what play they were about to do. So Yanko Ice has to call the guy back over for a little bit of time. Now breaking through again. It will be Erlunk. To the right-hand side. Middle of the field here for the GRIQUAS. So option to shift it. Going right or left. Are they playing in Kimberley today? It is a GRIQUAS home game. Yeah, I know that I've got a different stadium in the background, but I did explain it earlier on. The reasoning behind that. But it's going to be now the penalty and a double blow of the whistle here from AJ Jacobs. That was for not rolling away. I think Boland now, they are going to be receiving their last warning here. Okay, so pretty much AJ Jacobs there has said there's been consecutive penalties against you down this end of the field. You're about to force my hand, which means he's going to give him a yellow card or someone on his side. At the moment, this Boland side, they are under pressure. 6 penalties conceded so far in the first 26 minutes compared to the GRIQUAS, who have only conceded just the 1. Could be the big difference maker. But yeah, I think his arm was stuck underneath there. He thought he was all right to be able to just lie and not roll. He didn't feel like he was involved in the play, but the referee certainly did. Try, says Florian. At this point, they have got the scrum 5 metres out. McKellar has said try though, so they might do. We might have had a bit of a spoiler there. Now, the GRIQUAS with the chance. I've noticed it is only GRIQUAS games though, so far throughout the whole Currie Cup that we have had the tries being called before the tries are actually scored. Fun fact. I don't know what that is about the GRIQUAS side. Maybe the guys just get a little bit excited. Now ball's going to be put in by the GRIQUAS. And as Caleb Abraham's now the big scrum again. They're looking to get that advantage, and they now have it, controlling it at the back. It's gone down just short of the try line, off to the right-hand side. A little bit of a step showing off there. Mahoney with the no-look pass on the outside to Swarter, who goes into touch. And that is going to be now going back for another penalty. Boland, we're lucky. They're good defenders, and the GRIQUAS want to break that damn wall again. Says Ruth there. Okay, the ball came out, so it would be a different story. I think that was where maybe Yanko Ice was trying to say perhaps it could have been a penalty try for that big push that they were able to do 5 metres out from the line. Another penalty here. I believe they will go straight back to the scrum. Why wouldn't they, when every time they scrummage, they make about 3 or 4 metres just from the push alone? But that is something that is very worrying and concerning for Boland, not just in this game, but in general. Kickable goals not taken now is up to 6 for the GRIQUAS. They have turned down 18 points in this game at this point in time. It will probably be 24 by the end of it. Possession 70%, territory 70%. The GRIQUAS have had a lot of control, but they are only up by 2. 20 kg stronger, pack heavy 2. Yeah, so that doesn't help either if you are Boland here. AJ Jacobs just making sure that both sides are going to be on the mark, although I don't think it's going to make much difference once this hit comes in from the GRIQUAS. Only 29 minutes through, 11 minutes before the halftime break, so this is the worst time to be conceding. Definitely if they can get back-to-back tries here. The ball about to be fed in. Bit more of a push there. 5 metres out from the line. Still moving here, and there's the advantage on play. No, at that stage, they were actually able to defend it well enough, but a beautiful pass on the outside. Close to stepping into touch, but he will score the try there for Gershon Ware. They may just check to see if that foot was on the touchline, but if not, the GRIQUAS have got themselves try number 3, which means they're only 1 away from that bonus point. And GRIQUAS have a death wish, says Ruth. But after 30 minutes, we're going to see it now. How close was this foot? Oh, that looked pretty close from the behind angle. I would assume that they would look at that though, wouldn't they? To make sure that he did not step in touch. About 21 degrees today and partly cloudy. Lots of rain forecast for tomorrow and evening, Jed, says Tyrone. And there as well, welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. George Whitehead, this kick is going to be 33 metres out. He's seeing 1 from 2 today off of the kicking tee. And Whitehead does get it straight over this time, and now a 9-point lead here for the GRIQUAS. Pretty substantial one, but a great step from Gershon Ware. I think we're going to see the replay now, so this should clear up any chance. I think he touched the sideline. I think one of the commentators has just said you could argue that he was on the touchline, but because the touch judge kept his flag down, I assume that the TMO wasn't going to look at it. The sound are good in clearance, says Michael. And now, kicking this one off again for Ashlyn Davids. We might have to look at that one in super slow-mo at halftime and see what we can see. And Boland needs to hit hard or hit back. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot too hard later. Oh, beautifully taken. And speaking of Boland hitting back, they have now got themselves the ball 5 metres out from the opposition line, but retaining their kickoff. Now September, short ball, 3 metres out, but the Jackal there, an advantage going in favour of Boland. Now across to the left. Wide skip pass from Ashlyn Davids. Oh no, that's going to be a highlight reel try for all the wrong reasons. It's a flat pass out wide, and it's hit the defender in the head, who had only eyes for the man he was going to be tackling. He gets slapped in the back of the head with it. It bounces up, and then Zane Bester, in fact, David Britz, does score the try. So that is how you answer back if you are Boland. But this replay is going to be brutal for the player here for the GRIQUAS. He was too busy watching the player, expecting it to go into the hands of the winger, and it just bounces off the back of his head perfectly into the hands of Boland. We are going to try Boland, says Mikhail there. No, dear, says Ruth. Yeah, certainly not a defensive moment that they will want to remember there for Dylan Mart. James Tedder now lining up this one to try and add the extra 2 that will put them back to 2 points behind. Still the 8 minutes remaining of the half as well, and already we have seen 34 points, perhaps 36. It's not the easiest kick of the day, but just misses away to the right-hand side. keeping the score at 19 points to 15. The more we look at that replay, the worse you have to feel for Dylan Swart. He thought he was doing the right thing, He had his eyes on the defender, and then it just hits him in the back of the head. He gets the try assist to Dylan Martz. Oh, yeah, the GRIQUAS coach, he was just yelling into his walkie-talkie. He stood up. He looked like he was about to break something. The commentators just said, keep eyes on the ball. The ball is very important. So I have a feeling that one's going up on the Boland socials later on. Come on, Boland. Come on. Sarah Leonard. Oh, almost a little bit of a high tackle there, but they say it did right up. September, back into the pocket. Does find this time James Tedder. And they will go back. Oh, no, they've actually called it as the high tackle, AJ Jacobs. I don't know whether or not that was the TMO who got involved, or maybe a sideline official. Did Boland try? They certainly did. They are now sitting 19 points to 15 in this contest. It is still well and truly anyone's game. GRIQUAS have 3 tries, so they just need the 1 more. Boland have 2, so they need 2 more to get that bonus point. So that no matter what, both these sides can get at least a point from this game. Ashlyn Davids kicking it downfield. Chance to strike here just before the halftime break if they can maybe win another penalty. The GRIQUAS discipline has been pretty strong throughout this contest. 1 point, the penalty count was 6-1 against Boland. Now, going to be the line out for Sydney Tobias. Does go to the front, or to the middle, my apologies. Now September, short ball. Finding, I believe it would be Quincy Mafu and their number 7 jersey. September, off to the right-hand side. Ashlyn Davids with the inside. Ball finds David Brits. In fact, this time it is going to be Donovan Don. Pure pace on the outside. Gets round Swart. And that is now try number 2 in a row in about 3 minutes for Boland, who will take the lead in this match now. They don't like being behind. I can tell you that right now. Anytime they are, they seem to try and fire back as soon as physically possible. But just the pace there. The pass on the inside from Ashlyn Davids, who gets the assist. And then Donovan Don just pins the ears back on the outside. Swart was covering not too badly, but then got beaten for wheels on the outside. I understand the gang. How's it going? Says Big Rick, doing very well. Hope you are doing well too. And Boland try, yes, it back. Says Ruth. And there as well. Number now, James Tedder. Another kicking opportunity for him. Sitting 67% at the moment. About 40 minutes. Looked like I missed a fun first half. Yeah, both sides very competitive. Alt ball falling off. And he's got 3 seconds here. I think he's going to be timed out. Yep, run out of time there for James Tedder. And, I mean, he hit the post and it came back anyway. So, it's a missed opportunity though. And that is the risk that you do take when you decide as a kicker that you want to take maybe 55 seconds before striking the ball. Then if it falls off or anything happens in those final 15 seconds, you can't do anything about it unless you can't take that ball and try and drop kick it. But that was 40 metres out that Tedder would have had to line that up from. So it would have been a pretty tricky one there. Alt trying to get that ball straight back with Swart, but he has knocked it on. Now Boland have the ball only sitting 5 metres out from their line. Good attack and run for, I believe it was the replacement 20 at Marsh. Oh, ripping the ball. Oh no, Whitehead has Boland down. And another chance here for Boland. It's going to be another counter-attack and try. And this time it will be the try for Titus. 3 tries in a row. Boland turned it into a bonus point, and I have no idea what has happened to the GRIQUAS, but they seem to have defended relatively well for the first maybe 30 minutes, and now there seems to be so many errors, and just Boland seem like they've gone to the next level. But 37 minutes through, the scoreline went from being up by 9 for the GRIQUAS to now being down by 6. Just pass it on the outside. Just great hands from Boland as well. How do we have you there, Boland? Back, baby. And yes, says Briss, didn't come on the GRIQUAS, or GRIQUAS, says Ria there. Now James Tedder, 2.5 minutes remaining. This time he does not use up all the time, leaves about 15 seconds on the clock just in case. That is going to make the score now, closing it on the halftime break, 27 points to 19. And we have got there Boland on top. And we should mention with that try and conversion, now all of a sudden it's gone from the GRIQUAS having that control of the game by leading by around that 9-point margin to now Boland have got themselves that 8-point lead. So the GRIQUAS, they will need another try, but Boland have got themselves the bonus point from this game no matter what. That was blitzed. Boland certainly decided and go for broke. Here's Ruth. Yeah, and 3 tries in, I want to say it was 5 minutes. Oh, and beautifully, no, Swart, he took it so well. He's had about 5 errors in a row here for that big man, and unfortunately, 3 of them have led to tries. Now kick downfield. And that's a hard one to be able to line up, but well controlled by George Whitehead. Keep this ball low and bounces it in to touch. A very good kick from the GRIQUAS. Experience yet they thought about throwing quickly, but now they will not. I go for broke, apologise, says Ruth. And hey, Ruth, Gricky's left for La La Land, says Ria. And Boland on top, says Briston in there as well. But territory at the moment, still 69% for the GRIQUAS. And possession's probably sitting around that 65%. So they've had much more of the ball. But Boland have been so dangerous when it comes to that counter-attack. Just the 1 minute remaining. Sydney, Tobias in no hurry to get this ball thrown in for the line-out. As I think Boland would be pretty happy with an 8-point lead heading into the second half. Right, Boland, let's go is the call from AJ Jacobs. Just blown his whistle twice too. He managed to milk about 30 seconds there. Boland with a bit of game control. Sangwini. Now another missed tackle from the GRIQUAS. And it's gone from an opportunity maybe for Boland just to kick this one into touch to now they're considering going for one more attack. Although James Tedder will kick it downfield, didn't feel comfortable about having that ball 22 metres out from his own line. 2-score lead is always comfy. Says Big Rig, thought about the ball on the inside. Another mistake from the GRIQUAS. Their hands have stopped working and Donovan Don scores his second try between the sticks. What has just happened to the GRIQUAS? 4 tries in the matter of about 7 minutes for Boland. They have got the equivalent of a bonus point from their time, but they already had the try prior. But Donovan Don for his second try of this match. I don't think I've seen a side capitulate this badly in quite some time, if not ever. Like, how does this happen if you are the GRIQUAS? I'm so proud of Boland because they're just coming in again after 10 years out of the Currie Cup. This is so emotional for Boland. And I feel like as soon as I turned up, the GRIQUAS fell asleep. See, here's Big Rig Joe and GRIQUAS have butter on their hands. It's unbelievable, eh? It's so crazy to think that literally I have the timeline here of this game. At 30 minutes, right? We've had 10 minutes since then. 30 minutes. The GRIQUAS were leading 19 points to 10. They had a 9-point lead. Then from there, we have seen 4 tries from Boland, who are now leading at halftime by a substantial margin. 34 points to 19. They've said it there. And I think that's a very good point. The commentator said defense wins games. And at the moment, GRIQUAS are not defending. So their chance of winning this game is going a lot more out the window here. 19-10 usually means often game over. Unbelievable, says Jonathan. But yet now it's almost game over in the other regard. Because there's a 15-point lead for Boland, who it's just crazy. I don't know what to say about it. I know that the GRIQUAS, I don't want to isolate a player too much, but Dylan Mart in almost every try had a mistake in that regard. Off 3 kickoffs or 2 kickoffs, he did knock the ball on, giving it straight back into the hand of Boland. He did get hit in the back of the head with the ball as he wasn't watching it, and then they did score the try. He was the last-ditch defender, wasn't quite quick enough to be able to cut off the initial run of Donovan Don. So, unfortunately, every time that there has been a try or something, that man has been somewhere near it. But that doesn't mean that he is, of course, the lone one to blame for the way that the GRIQUAS have been defending. Bigger holes in GRIQUAS defense than Swiss cheese. See his roof there. I mean, technically it's possible to score a try in 12 seconds. See his Big Rig Joe. It is. But teams don't often do it. And we have got there AI. Sears Ria. And there as well. Oh, now they're showing pizza. It's currently 2 a.m. here in New Zealand, so there is nowhere that would be open. But I have got food that I could have, which I might do after the live stream. Of course, we have got the All Black squad announcement. That is coming up later on today, ladies and gentlemen. It is at midday New Zealand time, so that's actually 2 a.m. for you guys in South Africa. A little bit of a brutal time there. But I am still going to be doing it on the channel, and then also, a couple of videos based around that too. We have there. I've got a pasta bake in the oven. Pizza is lovely. See, here's Big Rig and Boland above themselves today, and GRIQUAS defense is woeful. It's been pretty shocking. I just want to enjoy watching the Currie Cup. I certainly do. It's quite cool seeing those younger South African players as they develop into, URC and also into international players. Bacon, avocado, and feta cheese pizza. See, here's Ruth. And there as well. But second half, what are we going to see? Because GRIQUAS, we've got to remember as well, right? They have a very dominant scrum in this matchup. And it isn't even really close. Even when Boland are feeding the ball into their scrums themselves, they are sometimes losing it. So you're in that scenario, you just need one drop ball from Boland and it's going to change the momentum of this game completely. But if they don't change the momentum and they don't tackle, this could get worse for the GRIQUAS here, who already don't sit with the best points differential. They sit in 6th at the moment with that points differential of minus 21. We have got there, I'm one of the sickos that likes pineapple on pizza, wine all the way. See, here's Big Rig. And enjoy Big Rig ravioli. And 9.9 out of 10 Irish for pronunciation now. And we have got their squad for New Zealand. Is it only the team to play against the Pumas? It's the whole rugby championship squad. But, of course, there will be changes depending on injury. But whoever Scott Robertson names in his 36-man squad here is pretty much who they're going to be going with for most of it. Are you back in to win the whole competition, if you had to say? At the moment, from what we've seen in their first 2 games, up against what I thought would be quite strong opposition, I would say the Bulls. That was such a clinical performance from them yesterday up against the Sharks. And yes, the Sharks were a young team, but the Bulls, their crisp backline, the way that they were just knowing exactly where their teammates were, their loose forwards looking very dangerous. And then, even someone like a Jandre Rudolph, some of the tries that man has been scoring lately have been absolutely phenomenal. He got himself a man of the match in that last contest. I wouldn't be surprised if he has many more of those throughout the Carling Currie Cup too. It's easy, Kiwi lads. Easy 5 points for Boland. We have got there the Bulls versus the Lions in the final. I think so. Although maybe someone could cause an upset in one of those semis is the other side of things. But I do think those two sides should be 1 and 2. It's just a shame we've got to wait about 5 weeks before we do get to see them play each other in this competition. In fact, it may be about 4 weeks, actually, now that I think about it, in around round 6, yeah. Up against the Bulls at home, the Lions, on the 31st of August for us here in New Zealand. That'll be the 30th of August for you guys in the north. I saw a comment yesterday on live stream how GRIQUAS going to thrash Boland. Can still happen, but unlikely, says Bruce. It just shows how unpredictable rugby is. And, you always have to be careful giving bold predictions. Because games, upsets happen. Sometimes top sides don't perform. There's been many times in a game of the Rugby Championship, for instance, where it seems like a side would win by more and then the opposition upset and get themselves the victory. But that's what makes rugby so much more enjoyable. The fact that you just never really know what is going to happen throughout a game because there's always that little bit of a chance for that upset. And GRIQUAS haven't got hands here. It's called the bounce of the rugby ball. It can go either way. Exactly right. Just showing that Boland try that hit the back of the head of Dylan Mart. And we have there Boland flying. And Boland can't be underestimated. They are slowly becoming my favourite team. Well, I think the way that they were able to fight back up against the Cheetahs in that last week's game, they are slowly becoming a lot of people's favourite side because they just never gave up in that game. And the thing that makes it even more impressive, like I mentioned here as well, their scrum, compared to a lot of other teams, is actually, it's pretty poor. You know, they don't have a lot of shove up front. I don't think they've won too many advantages off their scrum. They've given away more advantages than they've won. But, like, outside of that, the aggressive counter-attacking style of rugby that they play has just been enough to really ignite the fan base and, you know, attract a few neutral supporters as well. Definitely with the fact that they scored in 88 minutes to be able to get themselves the win. Now, they are just showing the statistics. GRIQUAS, 7 handling errors in that first half compared to Boland, who did have the 4. 2 penalties conceded from the GRIQUAS, 7 conceded from Boland. They also had 32 tackles made with 14 missed for Boland compared to the GRIQUAS, who had 23 and 7 missed. So honestly, like, they haven't done that badly, the GRIQUAS, across any statistic in this game. 70% territory, 58% possession. Like, if you were to look at this game, right, from the statistics, and you were just showing that rather than seeing anything that's happened, if you had to give a score prediction of what it was sitting, you would not predict Boland by 15. You'd probably predict the GRIQUAS closer to being up by 15 than Boland. Not look to brag. This is exactly the score I predicted for half-time, says Xander. Did you put it in the chat, or did you just think to it to yourself? I know that you said about the coach being fired for the Sharks. And then I've also got there that you predicted that it would be 38-31 for the GRIQUAS in there, Xander. So the Boland actually have more points than you predicted for half, or for now. Unfortunately, yeah. If GRIQUAS continue to hammer the scrums, they might have a comeback, says I have no clue. And there as well. Yeah, like, that's the thing. If the GRIQUAS can actually get the game to be where they want it to be played, which is down Boland's end of the field, as well as with those forwards being able to get into their work, they can win this game from here. There's no denying it, because, you know, eventually the referee with 7 penalties against Boland might actually decide that they should go to the bins. And it's got the laughing faces in there. Yeah, that was slightly unfortunate. I did go back because I wanted to see whether you were right so that I could be like, well, you got it bang on, but sadly, no, we found something very different in that regard. We have got there Boland, 60 points to 36, and there as well. So you're going with a pretty high scoring one. But second half, I would say it's going to be intriguing how this one does end up going. But what we will do is we'll go like this. There we go. There are the benches for this game, ladies and gentlemen. I've got David already out there on the field. That was due to the injury that we did see earlier on in the contest for Dlamini. Oh, sorry, in fact, that was on the other side. That was for Oosterhuizen, but we did see Dlamini also make his way off for Marsh. So if you're that number 20 jersey for this game, you are actually out there on the field a lot earlier than anticipated. Godlin Masimla still to come off the bench for Boland, but they are attacking very nicely. And it just seems like Chriswell September's making some very good decisions in terms of who to get that ball to. Donovan Don's been strong. He's got himself the 2 tries. David Britt's been strong. James Tedder from the back looking solid. So there's still plenty of work to do, but plenty of tries to come in this game. I think the grass on GRIQUAS field is harder than rock. You don't want to get slammed on that field, says Mike, Minecraft Pixels. Yeah, it has been said earlier on that it's going to be later on in the contest where the GRIQUAS are going to take a little bit more of the advantage. But for now, they've kind of put themselves in a situation now they have to have a near-perfect second half to come back into this game. Kevin, you're watching the game and chatting with us. You remember our chats very well, eh? Says Xander. Yeah, I don't know how, because, like, I'm terrible. Well, I thought I was terrible at multitasking, and I kind of am outside of the streaming side of things. But, yeah, somehow, like, some people, I remember comments from, like, 6 months ago, and when they pop back in, I ask them about them, and they get really concerned. But, yeah. We have got there, ready, steady, boom, says Roof, and that ground is like stone hard rocks if you land on your face and shoulders. Ooh. And it looks like Boland is going to go back-to-back in the Currie Cup. It's typical of Boland love running with the ball, says Mornay. Well, are going to go back-to-back in the Currie Cup. They weren't in it last year, were they? Are you talking about like last time they were in the competition 10 years ago? Perhaps, but both sides back out there on the field. Now ready to go for what will be, once again, a very intriguing second half of rugby. Can the GRIQUAS sort their stuff out? Can the Boland side sort their discipline? Your mustache memory is astounding, really good, says Ruth there. Maybe the SA Cup he talks about, says Minecraft. Could be, yeah, because of course they, from winning that, they then got to be in the Currie Cup, didn't they? But important moment. Donovan Don is my star, says Briston. And if you love watching that man in action, I hope he's in the 7 setup for the Blitzbox this year, because we are going to be covering those games on the channel as well. And he's just quick, you know. George Whitehead kicking this one off. And we are now back underway for 40 minutes of what will be very fast-paced. Oh, my goodness, that's a huge shot coming in there. So physicality, the forefront for the GRIQUAS at the start of the second half, but they have now got possession 25 metres out from the line. Go on to the right-hand side. Back line, trying to get it going. And again, the mistake from Whitehead. And at the moment, it just seems to be every time that the GRIQUAS try and use a back line, Boland get the turnover. Back-to-back wins in this year's Currie Cup, Hamish, says Monet Lagrange. And we have got there, after what I've seen so far, says Ruth. And bowling grit and grind. Lots more to come, says Ruth there. But it is a knock-on, and now the first scrum of the day. It is going to be the feed for, not the first scrum of the day, but the first scrum of the second half for the GRIQUAS. This is where they can really assert their dominance and start to try and work Boland down to 14. Handling errors is a problem for the GRIQUAS, says Minecraft Pixels. And the thing is, handling errors wouldn't be so bad if they were getting a scrum out of it. But what's happening is Boland is getting the ball and scoring a try. You know, because I think that the GRIQUAS, even against the feed of the scrums, have been able to get themselves a few advantages. Although this time Boland holding strong, so they will not get the advantage. That is a little mini win there for Boland. But backline movement now. Bester tries to spin. He's going to be held up by David Brits. What do you think of Donovan Don? I think he's a very talented player. I've watched him on the 7 circuit for a little while. Does really know how to change a game. Big drive and tackle and another drop ball from the GRIQUAS. It was the big prop, Eddie Davids. Does put it down now. Backline movement. Here comes Donovan Don. Kick downfield. Might have put just a little bit too much on this one, though. Going into the GRIQUAS inside of their goal line. And that will go right back to where it was kicked from. So not the end of the world here for this GRIQUAS side. Now Donovan Don just striking that one a little bit too hard. It would have been an interesting foot race had it been about 20 metres shorter. And Boland improving by a minute, says Ruth. Yeah, the back line again, just the sharp passing, the little tap on to keep the ball alive for David. And then, yeah, that one just skidded on badly for Donovan Don. Just kept on rolling forward under the hard turf. And Donovan Miracle, says Ruth. Oh, there's going to be another scrum here, this time for the GRIQUAS. This is where you can get that backline movement going away to the left-hand side. Gershon Ware, he's been busy throughout the start of this game. He has got himself a try. Also a try assist for that man too. Well, we'll go like this. I just want to know whether or not at this point in time, Boland would have to be favourites, wouldn't they? Oh, that's a big scrum now from the GRIQUAS. As we do see here, Boland are slight favourites at this point in time. They have got themselves a penalty advantage over the GRIQUAS, and the scrums is where they're going to be able to win this game. Who's got the ball at the moment? The GRIQUAS, little kick behind from Whitehead. And it's going to be knocked on by James Tedder. They will go back for the penalty. The coach for the GRIQUAS, he looks like he's ready to hang up the coaching boots. After that first half performance, he was frustrated. He was up on his feet after they conceded. I think it was 2 tries in a row, let alone the 4. I'm sure he would have just left that box. Said, I'll talk to you at half-time. George Whitehead going to be kicking this one into touch. Whitehead is so shaky. He hasn't looked in control for this game, has he? It seems like maybe that little bit of extra pace being shown by the Boland side when they're defending. You know, they are rushing up, and that is what's making it very difficult for the GRIQUAS to even get a backline movement moving. Like they've said, just good patience there from the GRIQUAS scrum. Currently up to about a 9 penalty count here for the Boland side. All right, sounds like there is going to be a new jersey coming onto the field for one of the props. And Boland rushing into GRIQUAS' face. And GRIQUAS need a Simbin, they do. And I love GRIQUAS' coach face expression. He certainly doesn't leave at all any sort of, I guess, mystery about what he's feeling, does he? Like, you can see when he's angry, you can see when he's happy. He hasn't been very happy throughout this game, though, for what we've seen so far. Eddie Davids gets himself the new jersey there. But yeah, if the GRIQUAS can work Boland into conceding a yellow card, and then perhaps another one after that, like, they can still win this game. And in fact, I think even one yellow card would be enough for the GRIQUAS to create a counter-attack and play. But now, they've got the ball 10 metres out from the line, the GRIQUAS here. Ice, say a little bit closer. Now, Abraham's popping it up to David, who gets closer to the try line, being held back at the moment by Losper. He's over the line, I believe. No, just short. Now, Abrahams dives over. The GRIQUAS are back in it. And this game is absolutely miles from being over for these two teams. The GRIQUAS, they have a lot of points to make up. They were down by the 15, now down by 10 with a kick to come in this contest. Well, that's the second try of the Currie Cup for Abrahams. And GRIQUAS coach is not happy. Sees Ruth. And I Hamish with the Shark Scouts up there looking for potential player sign-up. Sharkies group, or worse than Guppies yesterday. Cheers from Durban, says Brian. Yeah, it was really weird watching the Sharks just kind of capitulate in the way that they did. They had a lot of young guys out there, but still, you know, you expect something. And it just seemed like they had absolutely nothing. But then that also can't take away from how strong the Bulls were. Like, they looked like a world-class team in there. And honestly, if they played like they did in that game, I think they would have beaten a lot of club sides around the world. George Whitehead does pull it away to the side, so that will keep the score sitting with a 10-point difference, 34-24. In this one, this game is not a masterclass of defence, is it? Says Big Rig Joe. There's been a few, well, that's the thing. Boland scored about 3 or so tries off breakaways where there was no extra defence there because initially the GRIQUAS were on attack. So, you know, like in that case, that's just a smart play from Abrahams. And I think with the scrambling, the way that they had to try and get to the breakdown next to the breakdown just out from the try line, like, I think a lot of halfbacks, no matter the team, could have had a chance at scoring there. But yeah, at times the tackles have been a bit poor. But honestly, it hasn't cost the GRIQUAS massively. Like, they've only missed 7 tackles in this game. So it hasn't been the tackles that have been hurting them. But more so just the passing. Oh, nice step on the outside for the GRIQUAS. Now pace from Gershon, where went for the pass on the inside. Looked forward to me. But the ref says play on. Ball popped up. GRIQUAS score in the 46th minute. They've decided it's their turn to score try after try, but I think that was a forward pass, if we're being completely honest, and they may go back to have a look at it. Now we have good there, okay, game on please, let's go. Hit the likes button please and subscribe to Kiwi Lads, awesome energy commentary. See, here's Roof there. Right, they are showing the angle from behind. This won't actually show it being forward, so a little bit of a strategic choice, but that one for me did travel just a little bit forward. But we won't see it there. Oh, I was going to check that foot and touch, wasn't I? From that first half, never got the chance to. Now we're seeing the other angle, which does show it from front on. Those are very strategic angles. They know what they're doing with the camera work. Because there will be no question about whether or not that one did go forward with those angles shown. But going to be kicked, and it's over for the GRIQUAS. They are now down by 3, ladies and gentlemen. So whatever the coach said at halftime, it must have been pretty bad because they have decided that they want to come play now, the GRIQUAS. But they just needed the possession. That's the thing. When they have the ball in hand and they aren't dropping it, they are a dangerous side. Once again, another angle of this drive from far out. It doesn't show us too much here. Now, going up for that one, the GRIQUAS retaining the ball now from Mpofu. Being told to use it. Abrahams goes back to George Whitehead. I know pizza if you lose. Says Big Rick, and boom, more tries feast. Says Roof. Yeah, currently we are sitting with 65 points through this game. Passed on the outside now for Boland, who are close to the sideline, 40 metres out. Cross to the right, September goes to Davids. And ouch, Boland, come on. Our boys hit back now, says Roof, looking for the counter ruck there for the GRIQUAS, and they will get the penalty once again. This time it is Yanko Ace. He's got what would be a crucial turn. A little bit of a sore neck by the looks of it there. Might have tweaked it slightly as he makes his way towards the sideline. So he's already decided what they're doing, and that is a kick for the touchline, leading to a line out. And that is somewhere else that the GRIQUAS have actually been pretty strong in this game. That rolling maul. Whitehead kicking it into touch. It's going to be the line out, sitting about 20 metres out from the line here. Still 30 minutes to play, which is, this is a full-time score in most competitions around the world. But the Carling Currie Cup can offer you the opportunity of almost 100 points between sides at times. You just never know what you are going to be getting when the sides do play. Getting ready to throw this one in for the GRIQUAS. It is taken nicely, and now that one's gone down. Don't think there was an advantage there. 22 metres out from the line here. Now trying to get through. Looking for this ball in the breakdown. Boland's defence, they did miss 15 tackles throughout that first half. Actually only tackling at maybe around, I'd say 60%, if not lower, for that first half of rugby. Once again, the rush defence attempted there from Titus. Off to the right-hand side for the GRIQUAS, this time using Lunk. Mpofu, 22 metres still from the line. So not really going forward just at this point in time, but that doesn't mean that one lethal pass couldn't get them over the try line, or at least through the defensive line. Another advantage. This one going against, I think that was number 8, I heard, Sangwene. Might have got himself offside now, going left-hand side, Mpofu, cross to George Whitehead. Nice pass, one more, out to Mahoney. He deserves a try from how he's played, but he unselfishly passes on the outside. And the GRIQUAS take the lead now in what has been one of the most hectic games of the Carling Currie Cup so far. How many lead changes have we had in this match? The GRIQUAS, they led at the start, then Boland came back, then the GRIQUAS took it back, and then I think Boland came back, and now GRIQUAS take it back. I think 5 times that we have seen a lead change in this game, and there's still 28 minutes left. But the nice pass from Whitehead going there to Connor Mahoney, and then just nicely done. What games you doing next week? I haven't actually worked that out as of yet, but I know that I am going to be doing the... at least a couple games of the Currie Cup from memory, and then also a couple games of the Bunnings NPC. That is kind of the bare minimum that I would like to do. Now, George Whitehead, with a kick to come, strikes it well. He's got plenty of distance on it, and it just misses away to the side again. This game is written like an anime fight, says Big Rig. And yeah, I don't actually think it's going to be the last time we see a lead change here, unless, of course, this is where we see GRIQUAS take a little bit more control of the contest, which could happen. It's a possibility, definitely with the fact that they have scored the last 3 tries in this game, in the last 12 minutes too. Okay, looks like now subs are being made. Van Skor making his way on. That is going to be for Sydney Tobias. So obviously Boland feel like maybe their forwards are the reason. They are conceding a few times, getting a little bit tired. Any games for Australia next week? Nope, they have got no game whatsoever. But the week after, they're going to be playing up against South Africa in the Rugby Championship comp. Nicely taken inside of the 22 for the GRIQUAS. Their handling's got a lot better in the second half of rugby. They just knocked the ball on, giving it off to the opposition, and now Boland have a counter-attack. I should not have said anything about the handling, as it then looks like it's well and truly jinxed them. 3 tries in 10 minutes, followed by 3 tries in 12 minutes. Says Big Rick. Oh, that's an awkward one for Sangweni. That might be his knee done. Oh, no. That might be a calf as well here. And a bit of push and shove by the looks of it as well. Looks like Boland, the prop is standing over the little halfback. And Godlin Masimla. Yeah, Sangweni He is trying his best not to show the pain, but it looks like maybe either an ankle or something. Are you doing Thursday night's games? I do think there's a Friday morning game for you guys. I think it is in South Africa, from what I can remember. Which games are on Thursday? Mohadin. We're going to see the carry there. That's the thing is, that tackle there from Zwalendaba, in the breakdown, you're not allowed to put your weight down on a player's limbs. Whereas in that tackle, the way that he dragged him down, he kind of did. Like, it's a weird one to explain because in this case, it's just considered as an accident. But just the way that he dragged him down and fell on him as well, it just looked, I don't know, it didn't look right in a way. And I know not another. Says Roof, the last thing that they want us to be losing Sangweni alongside Lameni. It looks like he does want to continue in this matchup. But you don't want to risk further injury. That's his ankle, says Chantel. I think Sangweni, might have just had the conversation with the referee because the ref came over saying we need to speed this up. And he just said, look, I'm just getting strapped up, then I'll be up on my feet. Currently 27 minutes remaining in this contest. A pretty decent crowd for this contest. The first home game of the GRIQUAS and the Carling Currie Cup. That Highlanders kit stands out like a sore thumb in the stands. And GRIQUAS came back Terminator. Says Ruth. Yeah, the amount of times that the losing side in this game has just got back up. Oh gosh, one with the bum knee and one with the bum ankle. This game has been rough on the players, says Chantel. Luckily for Sangweni, it looks like this one's a lot less serious than his teammates, who did have to get stretched off the field a bit earlier on in the contest. 27 minutes. That's a long time. That's like, in this game, 7 tries. To be honest, we could get 100 points on the board between these two teams. They're up to 70 already. When a Springbok player is playing, I assume that is from Mohadin, or is it playing in the Currie Cup or playing in general? Because the Springboks will be in action in 2 weeks. And then in the Currie Cup, I don't believe they will get to actually play in this Currie Cup comp because of the shortened. When the Springbok players announcement, it actually happened about 2 or so weeks ago from Rassie Erasmus. He did name a 36 or 37 man squad for the Rugby Championship, so compressing it down a little bit. A couple big players missing out, such as I think Faf de Klerk wasn't in there. Lukanyoam, those guys are all on standby. It's been that long since he announced it, I've actually kind of forgotten the squad, I'll be honest. But he did go with a bit more experience as a whole there. Oh, no, Makazole Mapimpi, another guy that I just remembered was left out. Knock on there twice from... it would have been Nkale and Hey Roof. Yes, gosh, this game is action-packed. And not for the faint-hearted, and Kurt Ankle smells blood. He wants to put the ankle lock right on Sangwili here if he can. And that pass, I don't think was supposed to go to who it did from Godla Masimba. Went a little bit too far forward. Nkale, it looked like he was just running the support run. Because been off a lot for injury, says Chantel. Yeah, definitely with the stretcher injury. Like, that was... probably an extra, I'd say, 5 minutes added on to this game. But yeah, only 55 minutes through when normally we'd probably be at about, I'd say, at least 65 by now in the match. And so another 25 remaining here as well. We're going to be fed in by the GRIQUAS, who are 5 metres out, 25 metres out from their line. Scrum holding strong again for Boland. Just feels like it's a matter of time, though, before it breaks through. Oh, that's a great tackle made there from Nkele. Ball is available for the GRIQUAS. Oh, bit of a counter-ruck, though, coming, but getting the ball out. The physicality from Boland, looking for the steal. 3 players going down in off their feet there. I don't know whether or not there was a legal steal, but they're going to get themselves an advantage for it. Yeah, it's going to be the penalty now for Boland. They could take the 3 points and we'll give them the lead. Both sides have already got the bonus point. You look happy today. Do I normally not look happy, Mohadin? I probably looked tired over the last couple live streams just because we did stay up for an extended period of time. I'm currently running off like 3 hours of sleep, so I'm surprised that I haven't completely crashed yet. But now that ball, oh, was it dead? No, it will be 5 metres out from the line. Kickable goals not taken, 7 now for the GRIQUAS, just the one for Boland. That was their first that they've decided to turn down. To be fair, this is the closest game I've had in a while, says Big Rig Joe. Yeah, probably, like, I guess the closest game outside of that has been literally Boland last week up against the Cheetahs. In terms of that comeback. But then in terms of this game, I'd agree with closest in regards of the amount of times that the lead has changed. Whereas in that game up against the Cheetahs, Boland started well, Cheetahs fired back, and then Boland had to take it back at the end. But yeah, this is the most lead changes, I'd have to say, in a Currie Cup game in a while. You look sad in the other times. Do I? I say you're probably more excited in the one-sided ones. Says Big Rig Joe. But now, it's going to be a chance here. Tom Nell, he will make his way on for the GRIQUAS off a mistake as well from Boland on that line out, by the way. So, that means that they do deny themselves that chance out of 3 points. Oh, number 8's going for an HIA here. Who's the one going for the HIA? I think he was sad because he trapped his finger in a trap. That was true. That was unfortunate, wasn't it? These guys, or can see these guys are serious when they jackal for that ball in the rucks. Yeah, they just go for it, don't they? And, you know, sometimes they'll get it, sometimes they won't. But it at least also slows down that GRIQUAS attacking play. So it's not just to get that ball sometimes, it's also to just try and cause a little bit of disruption. And Hamish, I'm going to laugh. You're always looking happy, smiling. I'm having an old brown sherry, says Ruth. And there as well, looks like the change is being made for the GRIQUAS. Currently just the 23 minutes left. Clock still ticking by fast. Right, the timer's back on. So they had to take Ulunk off the field for the HIA. Are you working tomorrow? Says Mohadeen. I am not. Only because my dad's away at a 2-day golf tournament. So he's got the day off, so I do as well because of the All Blacks announcement. What are you watching the game on? Here in New Zealand, it's on Sky Sport 4. But there are other options on Stan Sport in Australia and DSTV. If you're in South Africa, I'm still a big advocate for the fact that this should be free to air in South Africa to be able to watch the Carling Currie Cup. And I actually do think that would get a lot more people back into a big scrum from the GRIQUAS. And they will get themselves the penalty 5 metres out from their line. Another 4 tries to each, says Ruth. Yeah, it could come down to those conversions. We've seen quite a few missed from Whitehead throughout this game. I've also turned down a lot of 3-pointers. Maybe that is because of him missing. And I agree, says Big Rig Joe. Now Whitehead does kick it into touch. About 40 metres out from the line, the GRIQUAS, as they start to make more subs with that last-ditch bit of extra energy in this matchup. We see all the forwards just trying to really get those boots dug in. And I think it was Van Skora who did have his head pop up. Line out throw for the replacement 16 in this game. Yako Ice had a bit of a limp earlier on. So now it will be Langya. We have in the UK here, and one of the worst things about rugby is that the coverage is split between different channels, networks, and even YouTube. So here's Big Rig Joe. Oh, nice attack and run here for the GRIQUAS. And, that's going to hurt the face. Beautiful pass there from the prop. Goes to Donovan Don, who will get himself the hat-trick in this game. That was a sensational try assist there from the Boland replacement prop. Does deserve a lot of credit for that one. In fact, it may have even been HP Van Score who did manage to get that little assist. But again, the GRIQUAS, it's off their mistake. We'll see it there, looking for the offload rather than just going into touch. And yeah, that was Van Score with a great quick hands to Donovan Don. The hat-trick now for Don on the wing. But yeah, that's just once again, the GRIQUAS trying to be too fancy with it. Trying to keep that ball in the field of play. And it just led to another counter-attacking try for maybe the 4th or 5th one that we have seen in this game from Boland. And come on Thomas now, says IRWT, and Boland, says Kristen. So fans have to research to figure out how to watch it, and that does get very annoying. Like, it's a bit similar for us here in New Zealand when it comes to Not normally the URC. The URC's all right, but when it comes to some other sports, you know, cricket actually is the perfect example. Sometimes cricket was on TVNZ+, then it was also now on 3 Now, and then also it can be on Sky Sport. So then from there, you're looking through it all 3, and sometimes you just can't find it, even though it is there. And holy hell's bells, Magic try that by Don, and magical assist for Fun scored. I know that Don had to run it in, but the big man Fun score. Somehow, you know, just to be a hooker in that scenario, normally they'd go, oh, counter-attack, no one in front of me. But he went, no, I'm not running. There you go. Got rid of it to his teammate. That kick touch finder, not too bad from Ashlon Davids, who looks like he is nursing a little bit of a limp here too. Looks like he is grimacing here, the number 10. And Donovan Magic says Roof there, and Boland rushing back, baby. So yeah, 39 points to 36 at the moment. If the kicks had been going over in this game, we would be pretty close towards that 100 mark by now. Manauti and Lunga. You have the throw, 19 minutes left in this match of extreme hectic proportions. First round of the Carling Currie Cup, Boland versus the Cheetahs, for me was match of the round. This game here, it's going to be match of the round as well. So Boland having 2 game of the weeks at this stage from the first 2 weeks of the Carling Currie Cup. Rush defence there from Boland. Trying to cut down on the possibility of the GRIQUAS sneaking through off some good tackles from Quincy Mafu, who at the moment is the only man who hasn't gone down with an injury in that loose forward trio. Abraham's beautiful inside ball from Whitehead, bumping off the challenge. With a dangerous run from Zwelendaba. Have to think deep about that one, but that's going to be now the penalty going the way of the GRIQUAS, not rolling away against Boland. Oh, I think there Ngale is asking for a potential penalty for a neck roll. I think that was as close as we've ever got to saying his name as well. And I don't know how I did it. O's All Blacks' first name. It says Mohadin. They are going to be naming it tomorrow, or actually today, New Zealand time, in about 10 hours' time. So we are going to be doing a live stream for the build-up of that. Having a bit of a discussion, definitely around the fact that Cam Roygaard's now injured. So they will be missing him for at least the Argentinian games, if not longer. Now, line out here for the GRIQUAS. They have won 14 from 14 lineouts, although not many of them have been contested. And now Boland in trouble, close to the line. That may have gone down just short. No, it's held up. Brilliant defence from Boland. Oh, and now Ngale has been taken down. Almost. I'm getting there with his name. He's about the only fellow. I like to be able to say Naba, but I can't quite get that one. Hamish is Kosa clicking. Now told to go. They can't take too long here, Boland, to be able to kick this one off. Looking into the sun as well for the second half. You're better than mine. I'm awful with names. Says Big Rig Joe. Now down towards the halfway line. Nicely taken. Chance here to run forward. Oh, that's a big shot there on Carlisle's. Across to the left. Another. Oh, he didn't like that one very much at all, Connor Mahoney. He actually went down. Oh, bounces into touch. Are they going back for a penalty here? Or is it? No, it looks like it's just going to be the Boland ball. And where are Boland from? They are from the Western Cape. Oh, okay. So the commentators just said that Connor Mahoney was crying there, saying he got smacked in the face. So not much sympathy coming from the coaching box. It looks like he is bleeding from his mouth a little bit, though. So might have just taken the shot on the chin. By the sounds of it, there's nothing clear here. He looks confused. That one, the GRIQUAS number 15. And it is going to be now the Boland throw at line out time. A lot of chat going on in that line out. And a lot of time passing. None of us are as bad as the American commentators in the USA-England game. They kept getting all the names wrong, says Big Rig Joe. That happens, doesn't it? every once in a while. But then that's the thing. If you are... Wait, were they the English commentators or the American commentators? Big Rig, out of curiosity. Because if it was the English commentators, I could understand them not knowing many of the USA guys. But then saying that if you are doing that commentary like professionally, they probably should have checked it a little bit more. But, you know, if it's the USA commentators getting the English guys wrong, I feel like that's a bit different because England, like, they are quite a common, like, I mean, literally you'd only have to watch some of the Six Nations and you know. We have got there, Fia Waboso try by Big Trev. Wait, who's Trev in that English side? That's not Weir, is it? Who is Trev? Who's Big Trev? Now Whitehead. Oh, interception thrown again by Whitehead. He's got more try assists for Boland than any other player in this contest. And the penalty, though, it goes the way of the GRIQUAS. That wasn't the end of the world for them. Moving closer to the end of this game. Where's the game being played? The stadium. It is being played as a Cheetahs home game in this contest. One moment. We will go like this. And like that as well. I just want to make sure that I get the stadium name right. Because I know it is, well, it's known as Suzuki Stadium. But it is in Kimberley, if that makes it a little bit easier. Last 10 penalties conceded. We have seen 8 of which against Boland. I support the underdogs, so now I'm supporting the GRIQUAS. Says Albert. Right, time has been turned off. So another change made for the GRIQUAS here as well. Number 23, Cameron Huff, making his way on. And Whitehead is a little crappy today. Should have kicked those 18 points. Yeah, he hasn't had a lot of confidence off the kicking tee, unfortunately, Suzuki in Japan. There's Roof. And we have got there Trevor Sears Roof. And there too, but now line out throw here for Tianlangi. Or Langya, I should say. Oh, falling over backwards. Or else. And Boland bang it, baby. Let's go, boys. Sears Roof looking for the turn over there. Boland and... don't think they've quite been able to get it. Now drop ball from the GRIQUAS goes backwards. Whitehead has to create a chance. Now this time finds the hands of his winger Dylan Mart, who drops the ball once more. He's had more drops in this game, I think, than anyone else. He's probably had more mistakes too, but he also scored the try, and it was a very good one earlier on in the game, so it's a tricky one to call. Thank you for pronouncing Boland correctly now. Serge Jacques now. Well, it's a little bit similar to most of the names for these players. It takes a little bit of time for it to naturally roll off the tongue. Mainly because, you know, there are some that aren't as natural for a New Zealand accent. It's like Ngale, who I can now say kind of close, which I'm quite happy about, which is why I've said his name quite a bit. Here's George Whitehead. Skip pass out wide and another drop ball from Dylan Mart. If that man could catch the ball, he'd be absolutely lethal. I can tell you that right now, Boland. Sears Roof there. Imagine drop balls, no. Sears Roof. But yeah, the handling error is just really hurting the GRIQUAS in this game. But they did have the penalty advantage. So they now have the option of either kicking this one for touch or tapping it or going for the post. But I don't think that's an option. It looks like once again the GRIQUAS are going to look for the corner. Try and take the lead back in this contest. And this will be a crucial 3 points. Or sorry, a crucial conversion. It's like Dylan Mart just getting a bit of ice on the back of the neck. Maybe trying to wake him up a little bit. That was harsh. So we have made fun of Harry Potter, but at least everyone in the world can pronounce his name. So here's Big Rig Joe. Yeah, good old Harry Potter, eh? Didn't quite have the line series that he would have liked. But Dylan Peach looked strong in that third game, didn't he? For the Aussies. That was a weird game with the lightning strikes too. Last time we had that was actually a URC contest between the Stormers and I think it was the Bulls. But now rolling maul. Set again here for the GRIQUAS as they start to move forward. That was joining from the side. It is the try. But I think it would have been a penalty against Xavier Mitchell anyway. But 69 in. And now the GRIQUAS, they take the lead back again. And with that try, we now move up to 80 points in total throughout this game. Like I said, if they... it got most of the kicks over. We could have been close to the Hundy by now, Morgan the Welshman. and Dylan Mart from Boland. And Connor Mahoney, also from Boland, come back to the Boland boys. Yeah, he's looked all right in the number 15. Although James Tedder, to his credit, has done decently for Boland here at fullback. But it would be great to have that little bit more depth in there as well. And great try says Jonathan, and game is wild. It certainly is. Once again, match of the weekend. Boland just making a trend of getting that award at this point in time. Now George Whitehead ready to kick this one again, and he's missed once more. I don't want to say it, but Whitehead's kicking here is well and truly keeping Boland in the game. As Barbarians have any more games? Not yet. They might announce 1 or 2 in November if we're lucky. But more than likely, if they did have any, it would only be 1 or 2. I'm just going to have a quick look here. How many kicks have we seen missed by George Whitehead? There was this one, that one, and then 4 missed kicks for Whitehead at the moment. He has got, I believe, 2 over, 3 over. So, okay, so he's missed just over 50% of his kicks in this game. James Tedder running it up to the halfway line. Never a good time to miss conversion. That was the worst possible. Says Jonathan, although the GRIQUAS look like they're going to go for one last attack and play to try and save the kicking of Whitehead, because, of course, if they get themselves a try with a conversion, ripped away, though, by Boland. Still 10 minutes on the clock here, too. What if it ain't over yet? Whitehead is useless as a kicker, but normally he's pretty solid, isn't he? That's why it's so weird that he is constantly missing here. And it's in his home stadium as well. That's the other part of it that gets that little bit confusing. Like last week for Whitehead, I think he was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He got 5 from 6 last week. So he was kicking it over 80%. And now this week he's kicking it about 40% of his kicks going over. A big difference compared to what we're used to seeing. And it's in a game where, like that last game up against the Pumas, they lost by 21. So really that kicking didn't matter to its full extent. This game it fully does. I've got, what crazy high scoring game, says Tyrone. Absolutely. Back and forth, lead change after lead change throughout this game. It started with the GRIQUAS in the lead. Then from there we saw it go to Boland. Then back to the GRIQUAS. Then Boland took it back. Then back to the GRIQUAS. And they, I think, then conceded the lead again and then got it back now. Drop goal maybe not needed though. Says Jonathan there. Whitehead still kicks better than LeBoc. Says Chantel. Although Marnie LeBoc says his kicking hasn't been awful lately. You know, like, I actually think that, like, if he can find his rhythm, LeBoc, he's probably going to be in that number 10 jersey quite a bit this year. And I think that Sasha in that last game missing so many, yes, he said beforehand that he had an injury, but then in that case, you normally wouldn't play a guy who is injured. But, you know, his kicking made people go, oh, maybe LeBoc isn't actually as bad as we keep on saying that he is. Oh, nice step down the outside. Pace here for the GRIQUAS. Donovan Don. It was just a very strategic bit of defending from him there. Didn't overcommit and instead waited for the perfect opportunity to make the tackle. GRIQUAS 22 metres out from the opposition line. Now in the middle of the field, breaking one tackle there was Zwin Ladaba. Pass on the outside. Now can he hang on to the ball? He's going to score. No, he's out. He put his foot over the touchline. He's celebrating it there, Dylan Mart, but he didn't know where his leg was. He's out every day of the week here, but he is celebrating it like he's won the World Cup. So he is going to be very disappointed in about half a minute. Don't get me wrong, LeBoc is a great player. Can get the backline moving, he just can't kick. And did Pollard miss a kick this year? Says Mohadeen. Not sure. I know he hasn't had a huge amount of kicking minutes. Or minutes in general. Yes, says Chantel. Ouch, says Ruth there. And these two giants clashing. Teams are not just surrendering, says Ruth. Right, they are going to be checking this, but I do think that they will find that Dylan Mart was over the sideline here. Like, I don't see any way that he didn't accidentally slide that foot over. We're going to see the replay now. Yeah, he's out. And he celebrated it big time, Mart, but just ran out of space. Needed to cut back in just a little bit there. Left it half a tad too late. And it's brilliant defense, actually, from the big number 7, for Quincy Mafu. Just did enough of a push on him to get him over the touchline. They're looking at this far too many times. He's out every day of the week. There it is. Foot on the line. Ball's not down. That's going to be no try. Or at least it should be. Foot is in touch though. Lebok is not smoking hot as a kicker. Says Ruben. Problem is Lebok rucks under severe pressure, which is crucial, says Bruce. And refs can't miss that, can they? Says Jonathan. Right, why is this taking so long? Okay, it's going to be no try. You get a bit nervous when it takes an extra minute or two than it should. And then that's when you start thinking, well, maybe there's a chance that they would give that. But could have redeemed himself a little bit there for a mixed performance in that number 14 jersey, Dylan Mart. Out throwing this one in for Boland. And, oh, what's happened there? Free kick goes the way of the Cheetahs. Of the Boland side. And we have got their foot out. Says Ruth. And yeah, by the time he did get that ball down, it was almost the whole body. Yes, Lebok chokes under pressure. As for Sasha, I think he just had a bad game last game. At least that's what I'm hoping. Says Chantel. You see, we haven't really seen Sasha in those really big pressure games enough, have we, to see what kind of player he will be off a kicking tee. But I do think that Pollard is still going to be like first choice kicker no matter what. It's just whether or not Lebok does get that starting spot and then Pollard off the bench to have that stability at the end. But now rolling more here for the GRIQUAS yet again. Sitting currently 2 points up. So a converted try here would all but win them this game. Although earlier on, I guess it's a bit rough to say that when we did see 3 tries scored in about 7 minutes worth of play. Now attack and run forward for Tian Langya. To the right-hand side. Again here. Quick phases happening back-to-back, moving up to the 22 metres out. Back across, Thomas Bursey. We're playing 9. Oh, that's almost a steal there. Although it's going to be the penalty for going off his feet. I think the only reason he went off his feet was because he got dragged down by the GRIQUAS player. George Whitehead runs it into contact. Scrum GRIQUAS. This might be it maybe. And yeah, now they are going back for another advantage here, and the penalty score now, says Mohadin. And just the 2 points separating them, 41-39. We have 80 points in total for this game. George Whitehead now, though, will kick this ball into touch. Could this be the match winner? About 6 metres out from the try line. Boland have already conceded off a rolling maul in this game. They are probably close to their last warning. The referee gave them one a long time ago. Has never gone to the pocket as of yet. Only 5 minutes away from having another game where cards have not been a factor. But I think I've said that too soon. GRIQUAS also got themselves 3 cards last game. So, of course, that averages out to 1.5 per match for that side. Slowly working on the discipline. It's been pretty solid throughout this game, the GRIQUAS. Now looking for the rolling maul once again. Boland trying to defend it. I should mention, if the GRIQUAS manage to go on and score a converted try here and then the game ends, you would be in the scenario of Boland just getting the 1 bonus point rather than 2. Trying to go over the line. He's been turned over on his back. And Boland trying their best to be able to keep it over the goal line so that it could be held up. But pick and go round the side here for the GRIQUAS. Over the top, looking for a grounding. He's got it down. And the GRIQUAS will score the try that may determine this game. But it all comes down to this kick, or else we're on the cards for a draw again here. But Suzuki Stadium liking that one. 46 points to 39. It was Prince Lou who does score it. And we have got there. Did you guys see how well Bato Kakane played in the under-20 final? Yeah, that guy's a powerhouse. I'm so stoked that he signed with the Lions. Hope he gets to play with the Box soon. Well, he's training with them at the moment, so I feel like that's a good sign that he's one of the younger guys that they are looking at. I saw a training drill where he was hanging onto the ball, and Jesper Visa was trying to rip it off him, and he actually couldn't. In the end, Oxnashare had to come over and get the ball. But now George Whitehead sitting 3 from 7 today with the conversion accuracy of 43%. Agreed, Fusimoyo and even Pete. Says Chantel. Strikes at Whitehead and this time gets it over in a moment that mattered most. Whitehead, he hasn't had the best day, but he now gets that one and makes it 48 points to 39. Now 3.5 minutes remaining for Boland, who have had a lead at some points in this game that expanded as much as 15 points. Like I said at the start, the GRIQUAS should pull away at the end. But boy, they left it very late. Says Albert, oh, great take in the air there for Boland, who have managed to get that ball back and they will win themselves the penalty. Oh, see, this isn't a guaranteed kick because if it was, they could have taken the 3 to be back within the 7. But a hard landing for Donovan Non, the hat-trick man. He's trying to move here, but he's got cramp. And I think they're going to turn off the time now because this is using up extra moments that this Boland side do not have. And heartbreaking for Boland, elation for the GRIQUAS and come on Boland, says Bruce. But yeah, just stretching out those legs at the moment for Donovan Don. He's trying to do a bum shuffle to the side so that they can still get that kick and put it into touch. It will be about 10 metres out from the line. In fact, further than that, maybe sitting about 15. But for Boland here, you need a try and you need it now. If they can do that, then they are right in this contest. But if the GRIQUAS get themselves one more try, or sorry, not even one more try, but one more moment in this game where they win a penalty, it will be game over. But Boland, they also have to think about it strategically. If they run out of time here, the chance of 7 might go away, but the chance of taking a 3 to be able to get themselves the losing extra bonus point. Now Ngale almost making his way through in the midfield. Hendricks, oh, rough stuff there. Brilliant work. Rough stuff being the clean out, not coming in. And the turnover now for the GRIQUAS penalty. Can Boland still win? They've got 2 minutes left and GRIQUAS will kick it downfield. So I think their chances now have just gone away. I don't think Whitehead will be in absolutely any hurry whatsoever to take this kick. Wiping both his hands, juggling the ball, just chilling with it. I think penalty to the GRIQUAS here. Yeah, really good body position there. I believe it was Derek Pretorius to get the steal. No, in fact, sorry, it was Marco David. Number 20 in this one. And just all over it. And got the steal right. 90 seconds now remaining in this contest. This game is slipping away from Boland's fingertips. Can they get the extra bonus, though, from it? That is the big question. But this was such an important game for the GRIQUAS. When you consider the fact that they were beaten last week by the 20 points, or 21 points in fact, you know, they had to come back and fire here. Because if they didn't, they could have been looking at that relegation zone. But instead now the GRIQUAS, they are going for one last rolling maul attack by the looks of it. Sitting about maybe 30 metres out from the line. Boland, they want one more steal, and it looks like the GRIQUAS are happy enough just using their forwards now. Trying to close out this game. No real urgency from Thomas Bursey. They are inside of the Boland half too. Being told to use it once more. 30 more seconds. Goldlin, Masimla rushing up, trying to get some sort of steal. They can't do it. Told to use it. GRIQUAS, they maybe could have had one last attack in this game, but I think because of the way that they have had the counter-attack against them throughout this 80 minutes, they didn't want to risk it. Instead, would be happy enough just to close out this one. Now 10 seconds left on the clock. The GRIQUAS going off to the side once more. 4 seconds now on the clock. Thomas Bursey just waiting for that full-time siren. Godlin Masimla has to make the tackle there. And now the hooter blows. They will put it back into the pocket and the GRIQUAS, oh, that's a little bit rough from George Whitehead, taunting the opposition as he kicks that ball into touch. He didn't exactly have a great game. He actually gave them more tries than he helped set up for the GRIQUAS, but that will be the game, ladies and gentlemen, and the win goes the way of the GRIQUAS in a game. They've called it a game of two halves, but it was a game of about 4 or 5 different moments that did seem to shape the fixture. Boland having a 15-point lead, then letting it slip. GRIQUAS had a 9-point lead early. That one disappeared. We should all congratulate Hamish on his Boland pronunciation And now Fast Learner says, Bruce, and also congratulations, GRIQUAS, a strange game. Very strange, but still match of the weekend, in my opinion. It was hectic, back and forth, crazy rugby, but that is sometimes the best kind of rugby to watch, and neither of these sides were leaving too much left in the tank at the end of this contest, just continuing to try and score. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Game separated by the 9 points in the end, so they did actually get that 9 points back in the end for the GRIQUAS as well. But the next thing that we'll be doing on the channel, it will actually be in around probably, I'd say about 8.5 hours time. We are going to be doing the All Blacks squad announcement on the channel, so anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button and also be sure to tune in for that, although I do know that with the fact that a majority of you guys are in South Africa, that will be a 2 a.m. time, so we don't expect you at all to want to get up for that one. But next weekend, we're going to be doing the Currie Cup and the Bunnings NPC, and then heading into the International Rugby of the Rugby Championship the weekend after, which will bring plenty of the excitement. Seems to be a lot of, I'm using only 10% of my real power going on. There's Big Rig. And also, really thanks so much, Hamish, from me and Annie, and also a high score thanks. Hamish, enjoy your Monday off, says Ruth. And there as well. Well, that was enjoyable, says Chantel. And great commentary, thanks. And cheers, Hamish, thanks. See Chantel there, and see you all for the next one. So nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. And yeah, we will see you all later on.